even when the bottom falls out. You ever feel like your life just couldn't get any worse? You feel like you've reached the bottom of the pit and the flames of torment just continue burning at you from all directions. People ridicule you. Life continues throwing its problems at you like sharpened, heated barbs that stick into your flesh and seem impossible to break free from. Seems the enemy just won't quit. Every time you turn around, another barb is being cast your way. People say cutting things. The atmosphere at work just won't let up. The boss seems down on you constantly. Bills are piling up. Problems with the kids, health issues. Will it ever just let up and give you a break? Life. Please, give me a break. Cut me some slack. Maybe it isn't quite that bad for you, but you wish at times life would just cut you some slack, give you a break, lay off a little, just let you relax for a time. Whatever your situation may be today, it's encouraging to know that you do not have to go it alone. However bad your life circumstances may appear, there is always a hope at the bottom. You're never left alone, as the Lord has promised in Hebrews 13:5. I will never leave you. I will never abandon you. His strength, His Spirit, His power, they're with you and they go before you, regardless of how the situation may appear on the surface. When you reach the bottom, you find the Lord is there waiting for you. Consider the plight of the three Hebrew boys for a moment. Life seemed to be headed south for them, and it was headed there quick. They had been ordered to worship another God besides the one true God. They absolutely refused to do so, even with the threat of death hanging over their heads. Their refusal was met head on by an irate king. The scripture tells us in Daniel 3:19, Nebuchadnezzar was so furious that his face became distorted with rage. Life went south quickly for these boys as the irate king commanded that the furnace be heated 7 times hotter than usual. Scripture goes on to say Nebuchadnezzar then ordered some of the strongest men of his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and to throw them into the blazing furnace. And so they tied them up and they threw them into the furnace. And because the king in his anger had demanded such a hot fire in the furnace, the flames killed the soldiers as they threw the 3 men in. The intensity of those flames was so tremendously daunting that the guards themselves were immediately consumed by the fire's ferocity. It would seem the story would come to an abrupt halt at this point as the boys were also consumed by the fire. But it doesn't end there. You see, the boys had faith in God. They had faith in a God whose power was stronger than the fiercest of flames. The scripture tells us in verse 24 that Nebuchadnezzar, he looked down into the fire pit and he jumped up in amazement and exclaimed to his advisors, "Didn't we tie up 3 men and throw them into the furnace?" To which they responded, "Yes, your majesty, we certainly did." Nebuchadnezzar shouted, "I see 4 men, unbound, walking around in the fire, unharmed, and the 4th looks like a god." Those boys were not alone. The Lord Most High was waiting for them among the flames. He protected them. He loosed them from their bindings, and he spent time talking and sharing his love with them. What is it we learn from such a tremendous story? What is it God is trying to tell you today? Your problems may be big, but God is bigger. Your circumstances may appear too great to ever get over or away from, but God can carry you through. He can carry you over because there is no problem too big. There is no mountain too high. There is no valley too deep. There is no fire too hot. God is big, God is great, and God is able. When you reach rock bottom, you will find God waiting on you there, ready to grant you a miraculous deliverance. Whatever you're facing today, understand that God is bigger God is able, and God will take you through for his glory and for his honor. The story closes with Nebuchadnezzar declaring the one true God to be the only God, to be the God to be worshiped, to be praised and adored. The God who is able to deliver even when the bottom has fallen out. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of problems you're undergoing right now or you're going through or how tough the situations appear. Trust in God. Trust him to carry you through and to see you through because he's a great big God and he's a great big God that cares about you today. He is concerned about you. Just reach up and pray and call on his name and trust him today. God bless you.